Welcome back to Tip of the Spear, where we talk about all things Wetumpka athletics. I'm your host, Chandler Ward, and with me today are my co-hosts, Deacon, Meeks, and Noah Britt. To start, I'd like to make a huge shout out to the Wetumpka wrestling team. They had their first match against the Stanhope Elmore Mustangs, with 3 of their wrestlers coming in the top 3. TJ Watson placed first, Liam McKinney came in second, and Chris Watley came in third, leaving a hot start to their brand new season.
Yeah. To add on to that, Chandler, I would like to mention that Dance has been practicing their routine for their first competition on January 24th, with Nationals following that week. But apart from Dance, a big congratulations to band members Michael Stanfield, Jonathan Elmore, and Winston McBride for being personally invited to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York.
Wow, and a great accomplishment there, Noah, and no doubt will they remember that for years to come. And also big congrats to Lady Indians and boys basketball team. The Lady Indians starting out 2-1 with wins against Prattville Prattville Christian Academy, as well as Pike Road, but falling short to the Prattville Lions. The boys, on the other hand, fall short 1-2 to Prattville as well as Pike Road, but winning against PCA 66-40. So a little bit of a rocky start right there for the boys, but hopefully they can bounce back and show them how the Indians ball out.
Absolutely, and I'm super excited for the rest of the season to come. Very proud of both of these teams and how they've performed, even if the boys are running a little short here. Now, I would just like to point out the girls' team for starters. Last year, they lost against Pike Road in the playoffs, and they came back and beat Pike Road. Now, one thing I noticed was some very aggressive defense. The girls, that's a little new for them. That they kind of lacked a little bit last year on that defense, but this year, Pike Road game, their first game, they're playing full court, man-to-man. They were locking down those Pike Road Patriots, and they were not letting them get any easy buckets, and it was just a great watch.
Yeah, I agree. These new additions in Layla Culpepper as well as Lexi Smith has been amazing for this Indians defense. It's added that agility, that hustle that we need for the full court press, and that has been working very well for the Indians.
Yeah, when you look at the Prattville game recently, one bad thing about this Lady Indians girls defense in the Prattville game was the outside the arc defense. There was a lot of threes made by the Prattville girls team, but we just had to play man-to-man against those type of plays. We were playing zone a little bit against the Prattville team, but going into future games, I think we have to consider man-to-man coverage.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And another thing about the girls is I think a little bit more time on taking their shots. You want to set your feet. You want to be planted, ready for the shot. A lot of shots I was seeing, they just kind of went off one foot, maybe just weren't ready for it. Now, you don't always have to take a shot. Sure, you can pass the ball, and that's one thing they did really good. They moved the ball around a lot. That first game against Pike Road, they were moving the ball, and it's just great to see. A lot of 3-man weave I saw, too. They were going in and out, just making sure they had it down, evading defenders, everything you want to see in a basketball game. Now, for the boys, I think the boys could maybe step up a little bit on that outside the arc shooting and just kind of coming in a little more. They take too many 3 shots, which is fine. You've got Miller Lombardi, you've got Andrew Voiles, great 3-point shooters.
Yes.
But too many threes were taken, and I feel like more inside the arc, and you've got some good basketball there.
Yeah, when you got some 6'4", 6'5" dudes down there, and Tom Suddeth as well as Caleb Ballard, you can look for them easily and see them in the paint. They most of the times they tower over their men that's on them, and it's difficult to get the ball down there sometimes. But when they do, they go to work and they work hard. Caleb Ballard, he gets double digit rebounds, and he's 4th in Alabama right now for rebounds.
Yeah. Now, I want to shift our focus back to the Lady Indians team. When we talk about Lady Indians offense, I feel like their passing schemes, passing the ball around, has been really good. And that is one key characteristic of a good basketball offense right there.
Absolutely. No, the girls, I believe this might be one of the best teams I've seen throughout my years in high school. These girls, they're just putting on a show, They may be 2-1, may have fell short to Prattville, but they're just an all-around great team, and I feel like the boys are also going to step up and show that. Now, past these games, I want to take a look into the game against Elmore County. Now, a player I want to kind of take a look at here is Chris Robinson. Now, he is an absolute star on the court. He has played almost all his minutes, and he has just done a great job. I think he could maybe work on that outside shooting, but in the paint, he's an absolute demon, and he goes to work.
Yeah, same as Caleb Ballard. As I was mentioning previously, averages over 10 rebounds a game, and that's amazing. Almost averages a double-double, 9 points, 10 rebounds, and with that efficiency on offense as well as getting those defensive boards, that's what you need out of your big man.
Yeah, we were wondering how Caleb Ballard was going to play at the start of this season because we haven't seen him play for Wetumpka the past few years. But one person that we have seen play is Andrew Voiles, and he's one of those key players for this basketball team, as he is the first Community Bank Player of the Week. And he went, in this past Prattville game, he went 3 for 5 at the three-point range. And he had, overall, throughout this season, he has averaged around like 22 to 23 points a game. And he has 69 points combined throughout the 3 games we have played. Now, 1-2 is not the ideal record right now, but Andrew Voiles knows that, and countless other players know that. And with the statistics have shown that Andrew Voiles is one of the key players for the Wetumpka basketball team.
Absolutely, and knowing Andrew, last year he led the Indians to a Sweet 16 appearance for state, so he's not going to let this slip up. Obviously they've got games to come, no worries here, but he's going to want a really good record. Honestly, the whole team is going to want a really good record, so no worries there. And I feel like these, not only Lady Indians, but also just the boys themselves, they're going to take a step up and continue the way they're playing.
Yeah, and I definitely believe that the girls will be aggressive this year because they know they have talent. They got a 6'2" lady in the paint right now, Queen Ballard. I know they are grateful to have her. And Logan Banks as well, because last year she was relying on herself to go up against those boards. But with that extra assistance in the paint, and it makes it very convenient for her to also have someone else to rely on. And also, along with Logan Banks, off that top of the, along with Logan Banks, she's going to be a great player for against Elmore County because she had a double-double against PCA. She's been playing amazing in these past couple of games with great hustle and great agility.
Yeah, one girls basketball player that I feel like we haven't really talked about a lot recently is Maya Richardson, and she is a freshman on varsity. You really don't see that a lot anymore in high school especially, but she is a very good outside the arc shooter. So she will be dangerous from the three-point going on throughout this season.
Absolutely. Now, back to Queen Ballard, Deacon. A little birdie told me, I've got word that Coach Winchester thinks she's going to be doing double-doubles throughout the whole season. She's going to average that, is what Coach Wynn has said, and that is just crazy. That's absolutely absurd,
yeah,
but not in a bad way. That's a great thing, and I believe that too. From what I've seen, Queen Ballard can put on a show. Mm-hmm. She is 6'2", and like you said, with Logan Banks by her side, that is a duo right there. That's Shaq and Kobe right there, if you ask me. That's just going hand to hand. They're going to put on a show this whole season, and I'm excited to see what they have in store. Mm-hmm. Now, taking another look at a different girl on this team, I'd like to take a step to Layla Culpepper. She is a new addition to this Wetumpka Lady Indians team, and she is an absolute dominant player on defense, getting steals left and right, and not to mention she's a great outside the arc shooter as well. Had 3 back-to-back threes against Pike Road, and she was putting on a show that night with a bunch of steals as well, and just a great player overall.
Yeah, I agree. And along with that, we have multiple great three-point shooters for the Lady Indians, such as Maya Richardson, such as Lexi Smith, because Lexi Smith, whenever she gets the ball in the corner, that's her sweet spot. We love to see her in the corner because she keeps shooting that thing, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to go in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot of girls basketball players here through the past few minutes here, and I think going into this next game against Elmore County, as we have a lot of great girls basketball players who are good on outside the arc. And I think that right there will win us the game against Elmore County.
Absolutely. I think Wetumpka's got the edge over here against Elmore County. Both girls and boys, both teams have absolutely dominant players, just great players overall. Mm-hmm. And I think one thing that they need to take into this game is aggressive defense. Mm-hmm. The girls have shown it plenty. They've shown it plenty. And one thing I'd like to point out is maybe the girls need to play more man-to-man. When they played it, it worked. When they full court pressed, it worked. So Coach Winchester needs to tell them, hey, I know you'll get tired. If you get tired, we'll sub you out, or we can go to a zone for a little bit. But man-to-man is working, and that is the reason why y'all are 2-1. So they need to keep that up. Along with the boys. When they full court pressed, it worked. Now the boys may be 1-2, but as long as they keep that aggressive defense going, I think both of these teams are unstoppable.
Yeah, I agree. And against Spike Road, like you were saying with the girls, they full court pressed almost that whole game, I believe. And against Prattville, I don't think they full court pressed once. So that just shows that they do amazing with full court press, because Pike Road did not have any open looks, while Prattville still did. They were able to move the ball around the arc very, very well. And the Indians were just playing conservative defense. I think if we attack the ball more and are a bit more aggressive, then the Indians will come out with a victory against Elmore County.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've talked about Andrew Voiles a little bit previously, and I haven't mentioned this, but he leads the state in 3 points made. So he's going to be looking for a good game against his Elmore County team beyond the arc. So definitely look at him for that. And he also is second in the state for assists per game. So he is a team player. And so our offense for the boys basketball team will win us this game against Elmore County.
Absolutely. Now that right there, Noah, will be a key asset. Andrew himself will be a key asset for this team with those 3-point shots and assists, dumping it down to Ballard, dumping it down to Sudeth. Whatever he does, he's going to get the ball down there and get us some easy points. Now I'd like to take a step to the, like I said, key assets. I want to kind of hear what y'all think is going to be the reason why Wetumpka wins this game.
Well, like most coaches say, defense wins championships. If the Indians full court press, go out there with some aggression, go out there with some need to win, that's what is going to win the Indians this game, because the Indians, they're just going to want it more than Elmore County in general.
Yeah. One specific thing that will win these Indians the game against Elmore County is efficiency on both sides of the court, defense and offense, in which we know that this team has the capability to do good on both sides of the court. So just efficiency is the key thing.
Absolutely, no. And now my side, I'm going to have to say some paint game, Now, when you're down low, mid-range too, like I said, both teams kind of struggled a little bit outside the arc. Besides Andrew and Myra Richardson, they were both great 3-point shooters and showed that. But I think maybe they settled down a little bit. I know Andrew obviously is going to want to keep that first place in the state.
Yeah.
But I think if he's going to be a team player, he needs to kind of dump it down more in the paint. He continued to do that with those assists, but I think all players need to settle in more. They need to get underneath the arc. They need to get in the paint. As long as they keep playing it in the paint and just getting those easy layups, easy buckets, these games could be blowout games for Wetumpka easily.
Yeah.
Now, I think both teams are going to continue to show out this year and just continue to put on a show. I'm very excited to see what they have in store, as well as wrestling, as well as dance. I'm ready to see it all. And I think everyone else should be too. But that's going to wrap up this episode of Tip of the Spear. I thank you all for watching. And as always, win the moment, Wetumpka.